Warning, this video contains Code Geass spoilers. All the spoilers. All of them. Well, hello there, average anime fan. So there you are, just trying to enjoy the 2016 fall anime season and trying to decide whether you should watch homoerotic figure skating or whatever this is, and you're just one day surfing the internet, minding your own business, and then this happens. Code Geass gets new sequel and anime compilation film trilogy. Wait, what? Code Geass to return with brand new sequel. Are you kidding me? Code Geass is returning in a new anime. Is this real life? Is this real life? Now your reaction to this news might be one of two things. Either you're thinking, oh my god, Code Geass is coming back for a third season, this is gonna be the best thing ever, oh my god! Or you might be like, oh my god, Code Geass is coming back for a third season, they're just doing it for money, they're gonna ruin my favorite anime, oh my god! And to be perfectly honest, I am a mix of both. I'm really excited for this. I mean, who wouldn't want to see more Code Geass? What an epic, great anime. But I'm also scared that they're gonna ruin it if they rush it or if they try to just make it a money grab, right? So yeah, I'm very, very excited, a little bit scared, and it's, I'm so excited, it's hard to even describe, to quantify the level of how excited I am. I don't know how to put it into words, like I could not put a number on it, on how excited I am, you guys. So yeah, Code Geass is coming back for a third season after nearly 10 years. And not only that, but even though this series is gonna take place after the original series, so it's a sequel, Lelouch is coming back as the main character. But you might be thinking, how is it possible that Lelouch is coming back as the main character for another season when we all saw him die at the end of Code Geass, at the end of the original series? So does this mean that the creators are gonna use some ridiculous, unrealistic way to bring Lelouch back to life? Some kind of outlandish stunt that's clearly over the top and everyone thinks it's ridiculous? Actually, no, there's no need for any of that. The purpose of this video will be to prove once and for all that Lelouch was still alive at the end of Code Geass. And in order to prove this, I'm going to use only evidence from the original anime. I'm not going to use the fact that there is going to be a third season as evidence. I'm just going to show you that even if there was no third season, Lelouch is still alive, and he would have been alive either way. Now, the first reason I'm going to give you is the most important one, and this is the one that I think really proves it once and for all. So let's get right into it. Now, we all remember when in the last episode of Code Geass, Suzaku shows up dressed as Zero and stabs and seemingly kills Emperor Lelouch. As Lelouch's bloody body falls, it drops down to where Nunnally is standing. And she actually touches him, and when she touches him, she is able to see his memories. She doesn't see memories of her and Lelouch together. This is not a flashback. She sees Lelouch's memories that she could not have known about before. Before this scene, the only time we see someone seeing another person's memories suddenly just by touching them is when they touch an immortal being who possesses code, such as when Lelouch and Suzaku touch C2. So, does this mean that at this point Lelouch possesses code, meaning that he's an immortal being? Spoiler alert, yes. Yes it does, and here is why. The fact is that once someone's Geass power evolves to the point that it shows up in both eyes, it means that this Geass power is strong enough to kill a being with code and transfer this code to the Geass user, which makes him an immortal being who is now immune to all forms of Geass. So, if your Geass power is strong enough that it appears in both eyes and you kill someone who possesses the code transfers to you just like it did for Charles after he killed his brother V2, and just like it did for C2 after she killed the nun who gave her her Geass power. Now let's watch this scene from C2's memories in which we first learn how she became immortal. You'll notice right away that she has Geass in both eyes. Now watch what the nun actually tells her. I have to have somebody take my place so that eternity can finally end for me. Someone who possesses a Geass beyond a certain level, so Geass in both eyes. And someone has to take her place in order for eternity to end for her. Someone has to become immortal in her place. Now watch this next scene. Pay attention to C2, look at her face, look at the blood all over her, and also remember that it's mentioned in the anime that she has terrible scars. So she looks dead in this scene, and the nun looks dead too. They both look to be dead. But you might be thinking, why would C2 be dead? Maybe she just killed the nun, and that's the nun's blood all over her, and she just feels really bad about it. The nun convinced her to kill her, and she feels bad about it, and that's why her face looks so miserable. Except, look at those two pools of blood. Look at the pool of blood around C2, and the pool of blood around the nun. And then look at the middle. There is no blood trail anywhere. If C2 had killed the nun and gotten so much blood on her and then walked over to the other end of the room and dropped there would be a huge blood trail. Any forensic expert can tell you that. There is no blood trail here. Now, we don't know exactly how the nun died, we don't know exactly how C2 died, but it is clear from this that this is C2's own blood and that she must be dead in this scene. But why would C2 be dead here? That is the key point. And in the same episode that we first learn about how C2 got her code, we also see Charles take the code from his brother V2 by killing him. This is episode 15 of R2. Now watch this. In the same exact episode, Lelouch uses his Geass power to force Charles to shoot himself in the heart. Around the same time that Charles does this, we also learn from C2's perspective that Charles killed his brother V2 and stole his code. So exactly like C2 and the nun, we see here that Charles and V2 appear to be dead at the same time before Charles comes back to life as an immortal. Now we're all assuming that in this scene Charles was just tricking Lelouch by pretending to kill himself. But what if that's not the case? What if Charles had to die before his code actually activated and he became immortal? What if C2 had to die before her code actually activated and she became immortal? And what if Lelouch had to die for his code to become activated and for him to become immortal? Dun dun dun! Let's go back to episode 21 of R2 where Lelouch and Charles are at a standoff inside the world of C. Charles says that Lelouch's Geass is not gonna work on him and that there's no way he can destroy him because Charles is now immortal, he has code. But then what happens? That's right, Lelouch develops Geass in his other eye just like C2 had done before she was able to kill the nun, and he uses this newfound Geass power to destroy Charles even though he has code, just like C2 had done when she killed the nun. Charles even says, "Impossible, I thought I was immortal," but Lelouch goes on to destroy him because he has the power to kill someone with code now. Now think back to what the nun had said to C2. I have to have somebody take my place so that eternity can finally end for me. So somebody has to take the immortality away from the immortal person before they could die. Someone has to take the code from them. The only person that could do this is a Geass user whose Geass power had developed in both eyes, and in this case it can only be Lelouch. The anime does tell us that someone who has acquired code can no longer use their Geass, and some people have pointed to the fact that Lelouch continues to use his Geass even after he kills Charles as evidence that he never got the code from Charles, he never became immortal. But what the anime doesn't tell us is that a person must first die before the code is activated, just like C2 had to die, just like Charles had to die, and just like Lelouch had to die when Suzaku kills him. And there you have it, guys. Lelouch did in fact acquire the code from Charles, but it only activated after Suzaku killed him, and that's how Lelouch survived. This is the main and most important argument, but there are a few other ones. The second argument is the behavior of the characters themselves. For example, let's look at Lelouch. For the whole anime, his big major obsession is to protect his sister Nonnally, to keep her safe and to create a safe world for her. If we think back to the ending of the first season, he even abandoned his comrades on the battlefield because he heard that Nonnally had been kidnapped. So throughout the course of the entire anime, he is constantly putting protecting Nonnally ahead of everything else, including his goals to gain power. So keeping all of that in mind, does it really make sense for Lelouch to willingly let himself be killed and leave the protection of Nonnally up to other people? Lelouch was never a trusting guy, and it just seems like he would never want to leave Nonnally on her own. However, if he did become immortal, then he will always be able to keep an eye on her, even if she doesn't know it. And then we have C2, who seems perfectly happy with the way things turned out. If we keep in mind that she wanted to die, that she didn't want to live anymore until she met Lelouch, and Lelouch became her reason for living, then I think we can definitely say that her being happy wouldn't make any sense if Lelouch was really dead. And then we have Jeremiah Gottwald, who is supposedly fiercely loyal to Lelouch, would do anything for him, but not only does he not stop Zero from killing him, he actually helps him and wishes him good luck. Just look at that. Look what he says, "Onward, masked knight." I find it very hard to believe that our friend Orange would not only allow Suzaku to kill Lelouch, but even help him to do it. But if he knew that Lelouch wouldn't really die, then this would make a lot more sense. All of this character behavior stuff is circumstantial, so it wouldn't stand up on its own, but when we keep in mind the first reason, it helps to tie it all in together. And the third argument that I have for you is the final scene itself. Now pay attention to the cart driver. Look where the cart driver is located, and now look at the crane. Look at the location of the crane on top of the cart. And there you see the crane again, which tells us that C2's head is facing towards the front of the cart. It's facing towards the cart driver. Now pay attention to her eyes when she says, "Not Lelouch." Look how she looks up towards the front of the cart. She looks up towards the cart driver. Now that on its own is not conclusive, even though it would be pretty weird for her to just say something like that out loud when clearly the cart driver can hear her, but what really sells this is the original Japanese ending, which aired but was then taken off air and edited in order to leave the ending more open-ended. Now here is the original ending. I apologize for the bad quality, I couldn't find any better quality, and I couldn't find any subs or dubs for this, of course, because it was taken off air. Check out this version. Do you see that? That is the cart driver in the original version. Does it remind you of anyone? Now let's watch it again with the volume up and pay attention to his smirk. So there you have it, guys. Lelouch is alive and he now has code, so he is immortal just like C2. I think that the creators of Code Geass always intended for Lelouch to stay alive, but they wanted to add a bit of mystery, that's why they left the ending open-ended, but they still left a bunch of clues for us to follow. Some people have even suggested that the name of the second season, R2, is actually a hint that Lelouch is now immortal, just like C2 and V2. This is because in Japanese, L is pronounced as R. So Lelouch Lamperouge would actually be R2. So what do you guys think? Did you agree with my arguments? Did I miss anything? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you do agree, be sure to share this video with your friends. Actually, scratch that. Share this video with your friends. I command you.